Okay, this may seem like a kind of a silly question. Can professional ball players be better? Of course, most people think, hey, they're already the best. You can't improve them. No one can be better. That's why they're playing in the majors. They're in the bigs. Because they are the best. Well, they are the best at this time. There's no question about it. But let's ask the question, can they be better? And the answer to that is yes. And how can they be better? Several ways that they can be better. First of all, you should realize that they still have much room for improvement. I've worked with quite a few of these players, and all of them, without question, were able to improve greatly. There are problems why they don't continue all of the workouts all the time, but that's beside the point. They can all be much better. But we don't put much emphasis on it. And we are now getting to where mediocrity is replacing great play or great performances. Go back, when's the last time we saw a 400 hitter? Or quite a few, let's say, batters who were able to hit 400. We haven't seen that in a long, long time. Or even batters hitting in the high 300s. Today, if you have anybody hitting 300 or 330, oh, he's phenomenal. And that should not be phenomenal. If you're hitting 500, that's phenomenal. Hitting 300 is good. If you're hitting in the 200s, I wonder if you even belong in the major leagues. They could be much better than that. Well, why aren't they better? Let's take a look at some of it. We can belabor or we can argue this point all day long whether they're the best or not, or how they can be better. But what are the teams not doing that can make them better? Number one, they're not doing analysis of hitting. What is the ideal or best hitting skill? Or let's say, for example, how should you execute the hitting action the best? What is the best way of doing it? Today, if you take a look at most of your hitters, most of them have what I call the home run technique. They sit and spin. They're trying for a home run. As opposed to players who have the best averages, by the way, are not your typical home run swingers, and they don't even use that technique. They have a different technique, and they're hitting in the high, not in the high, but they're hitting over 300. You can see a distinct difference here. So, why isn't more attention being paid to the technique being used? And especially when a person is on base. Like there were several games I was listening to or watched the other day. Not just the other day, but I watched. Loaded bases, no out. And we get strikeouts. 3 outs. Not a man moved. So this shows, and in looking at the hitters, they're all trying to hit a home run. Instead of having that hitter hit a base hit. Just hit the ball for a hit. See, this is unheard of. So, let's analyze the swing. What do they do? Baseball coaches cannot see what happens in the swing. They have to look at film. It is impossible, physically impossible, for the eyes to see what happens during that swing. They can swing, they can see how the batter holds the bat, they can see how wide his stance is, they can see if he's in a crouch, what position is he in, and so on. But these are all immaterial. The most important thing is, what is the bat doing when it's contacting the ball? What is the pathway of that bat as it goes into the ball and through the ball? This is the key element of the hitting. And did the body in its movements produce the greatest amount of force possible, together with accuracy? If you can get the force, which you do with the home run style hit technique, for example, you don't have the accuracy. And this can be proven very easily. So we see these differences. But the professional league coaches are not looking at these things. The hitting coaches, and I'm not saying this is not important, it is, they hit more, they deal more with, now here's a pitcher who's going to throw this kind of a ball, or the pitcher does this. They analyze the pitcher to prepare the hitter for what's going to be coming to him. But they don't do anything in relation to what the hitter does in his hitting. So this is one area for improvement. Secondly, could be, look at some of the excuses, as I call them, of why the batters are not doing so well. Everybody says because we have better pitchers today. Well, if we have better pitchers, why? Has to be a reason for this. If the pitchers are so much more effective, why aren't the hitters keeping pace and improving their hitting ability? You can complain that, oh boy, he throws all 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Hey, I would love it if they would throw 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. That makes it easier to hit the ball out of the park. The faster the ball comes in, the faster it's going to leave that bat. So take advantage of this, instead of cringing from it, or making excuses that, well, I can't hit the ball, it's moving too fast. Well, you have all kinds of training that can be done. Is it your vision? That can be improved. Is it the speed of the bat? That can be improved. Is your ability to execute the total swing faster? That can be improved. See, all of these factors can be improved. So there's no reason why batters have to make any excuses today. We have the technology, and we also have the ability through training to improve this ability. Like one of the latest fads is swinging a weighted baseball bat. Does this really work? No. Why? Because it changes your technique of the swing. This is why I never recommend putting a donut on the bat right when you're getting up to hit. You put a donut on the bat, it's changing your technique, changing your neuromuscular pathway, the way it feels, and the nervous impulses that are being fired into the body. And then they get up to hit. Now, if they take enough swings without the donut, they can kind of get rid of the negative effects left by that donut. But if they don't, there's no way in the world they're going to have a good swing. Or they're going to be lucky to make good contact. And this is where a lot of it sometimes boils down. The luck factor in making good contact. But even, let's say, even heavier bats, swinging them even in the off season or whatever, it's the same thing. The weighted bat is not the best way to get stronger. A weighted bat is interfering with technique. Work on individual body parts. The hip rotation, for example, should be very, very important right after the stride. And even having a stride. Many batters don't even have a stride. Especially your home run hitters with the hit and spin technique. They stride forward, and then when they straighten that front leg, they drive backward. Their hips are actually moving back, but they spin around faster. So they don't have any stride. There's no forward momentum. All the weight stays back. This is why you see him falling back when taking a couple of steps backward after the swing. So the hip rotation, hip drive, shoulder rotation, the arm action, all of these can be improved. We have the specialized strength exercises that can be done to duplicate all of these actions. But I'll guarantee you that hardly any of them are used on a professional level. They're still busy doing yoga or, bodybuilding or some other form of exercise to improve their abilities. Not using good analysis to find out exactly what's going on and then having specialized strength exercises to duplicate what they should be doing. It takes a little bit of science. But hey, we live in a world of technology today. Instead of fearing science, isn't it about time we started using science? We can use science to our advantage. There's no reason for these players not improving. And instead of getting more improvement of the players, we instead start looking to other foreign countries for better players. Look at the pros. At least 1/3, if not more, of all the professional players are foreign. Not even American. Now you tell me, of all of the people that play baseball in the United States, that we can't field enough players that are going to be better than many of the foreign players? No, I'm not against foreign players. I think some of them are great, and we need them. I think they enhance the game. But not the number of them. Or even like, for example, I recently read of the Padres spent $1.1 million to sign a 16-year-old Dominican kid. Now you can't tell me that there's not a 16-year-old kid in the United States who doesn't have the same potential. But anyway, that's getting off the topic. But see, the key is we have the money, we have the technology, we have the science. Everything is here. But instead of using it, we go to either a foreign country or some lame excuse of why they're not performing well. Performances are going down. We reward mediocrity. Hey, if you can hit 260, boy, that commands quite a few $1 million a year. You know, or if you're hitting over 300, oh boy, you better tear up that contract. Let's start talking 10 million a year. See, and this is all for not mediocrity, but if you're hitting over 300, that's a good hitter, no question about it. But it should be higher. No reason why we shouldn't have more hitters in the high 300s, low 400s, or even in the high 400s. But that's another ball game. We have a long way to go before we get there. But the key point here is, let's not make excuses of why we don't have better hitters. We need better players. The players today in the major leagues are not the best they can be. They can be a lot better. That's the point. Every athlete can be better, but you have to put a little science to it. You can be better.